Listen, you're tuned into the DNA podcast where we talk about sports, music, and all those heated topics you see on Twitter.
And today on the docket, we got a lot of topics. We got Winnipeg rap, we got the new Future song, we have Tom Brady, and the whole Patriots dynasty.
So, we're going to start off with a segment that we like to call hip hop life, rap life, whatever. And the first thing on the docket is the new song that just came out with Future and Drake called Life's Good. So, what are your first thoughts on it?
When I put it on at first, honestly, I'm like, Drake got another one, low key. I was like, the rhyme scheme is good. He's hitting he's hitting every beat. He's talking about what Drake talks about that gets me hype. And then after Drake was done, I heard the little sequence where the beat stops, and then all of a sudden, Future's just going in on like a trap type of beat. I don't think that was needed.
You don't think it was needed? That's crazy. I mean, on Twitter, I saw everyone roasting it, or roasting Drake's part, saying that it was just completely trash, and like Future's part completely killed it. But personally, I mean, I have a hard time understanding Future if I'm not actually paying attention to it. So I was kind of taken back by Future's the beat switch and then Future just going Future and whatnot. So yeah, doing Future type shit. So I thought the Drake part was a lot better, and it's more chill, late night drive type of feels. I don't know, but I guess Future's part is gonna be what's gonna be bumping in the clubs for the most part.
I mean, I feel like these are two songs that are individual songs, and they met together some random ass time, and they were like, give me one of your best unreleased songs in Drake's part, and then give me one of the best unreleased Future song. And then I don't know who worked on this. I don't know who worked on this. Maybe it was Oliver. Maybe it was Noah. But they just mashed this together and said, we're gonna just drop this out, record a music video. I thought the music video was pretty good, to be honest with you.
I didn't even know they dropped one.
Oh,
that's
shit.
so crazy.
It was them doing random ass jobs.
Oh wait, yeah, never mind. I saw it on. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, it was garbage truck man and working in the fast foods. Yeah. Overall though, as a whole song, I'll give it a 6.5.
I mean, yeah, I'd give it a 7.5.
7.5.
It kind of reminds me of sicko mode almost, because the beat change and all that stuff.
It
but I
was a
mean,
better transition.
Yeah. But sicko mode is they're kind of more of the same type of song, but this is just completely different, if that makes sense.
If you take away Future's part and you gave me a whole, or if you put Future on the same beat that Drake was on, I feel like this is a solid 8 out of 10 song.
What about if they're both on the Future beat? That's a banger. That beat was hard.
That would be a banger. That would be hard too. That's what I'm saying. I feel like somebody in that studio, someone that high up in music should have heard this in the studio and be like,
no, these gotta go together.
Yeah, what are you guys doing here? This is not the move.
But now we're gonna transition to the next and up and coming in Winnipeg, the next Drake, the next Future. So we have about 4 big people that come out of Winnipeg that we're gonna talk about at least so far. So we have Lim, Fab, I can't remember how to say it. Miazwe, there we go. And of course, our Toronto man's Lavish. Not really Toronto man's, but he was there. So out of these 4, who are you taking as your number 1?
Oh, out of this 4, I'm just gonna give a quick shout out to Lim, because I feel like that nigga's his songs that he puts out, they really have he can do whatever he wants to do. You know what I mean? he can jump in a beat, and you know he can rap whatever rhyme scheme he wants to rap, and that's still like that's for him to be a rapper and be like this like recent into his career and be able to like tap into that. That's something that like most rappers don't even know how to do yet. But despite that,
Oh, here we go.
I feel like YSN5, bro, that nigga's
Best in the city with no features.
no
Hey?
features at all. Come on. And every feature that he was put into, let's say it was the
With not the type.
song with what's it called? With Lim.
Not the type.
Not
Yeah.
the type, yeah. I don't know, I feel like YSN5 got into that song and he kinda smoked niggas on that song, bruh. Like he really showed that he can sing if he wants to, and he can get into that like, damn, this bitch hurt my feelings. You know what I mean?
That Marvin's Room vibe.
And then he can get into that like flex rap, like look at my
Why I
chain.
stand on the chain?
Yeah, and then when he talks about the money and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like YSN5, like he can really like he has that sound that are popping right now, like the Roddy Rich and the Polo G's. Like he has that type of sound to really be the next one out.
Sheesh. Well, we already know who I'm picking here. But before we get into that, because it's just gonna turn into like us talking about Lim and Fab, I guess I just kind of said it. But what are you saying about Lavish? So him and Kingsley put out a project mixtape album type thing, I think in like 2017 or something.
Oh yeah.
So
Throwback.
personally, I guess you agree that it might be one of the best projects to ever come out of Winnipeg. Like it was made in their basement when they just like started their studio, but like I still bump that album to this day.
I feel like, bro, like that album really like is slept on. Like a lot of the like new rappers nowadays, they must have been watching the way Lavish and Kingsley like were putting out songs every other week on SoundCloud, and then they made that album. There is at the most only 2 bad songs on that album. I'm not saying a lot.
I would even say too, because I could listen to that shit like I'd listen to like a Drake album
Yeah.
or Stormzy or Dave. Like I could listen to it all the way
Off the
through
bottom.
every day. I mean, I don't listen to it every day anymore, but like when it came out, that's all I'd listen to for sure.
They really complement each other, low key. Like
No Friends, 40 million or
40 million.
I think
that
it's
was
40
such
million.
a banger. Yeah, and also talking about that basement that they recorded in, Kingsley actually has a brother, and that nigga is the next Kanye West.
Next Kanye West, next Metro, next he's not even the next. He's
Like,
the
he is dire.
he is Pascal Beats.
Pascal, without Pascal, they're like the rappers that are coming out right now probably wouldn't even like had the thought. Did you see that Instagram post he made when
About Fab?
YSN?
Yeah. Like I mean, I guess you can go on about it.
Like he like Instagram DM'd them, and like this nigga wasn't even recording yet. He was just like freestyling on his phone. He got him in the studio. They put out Reeling You. I think that's or is it no? They put out Nobody Loyal.
Yeah, it's
The
Nobody
first
Loyal.
song that they actually put out.
It just went crazy.
It's a banger. And now he
Heard
now
it
he
everywhere.
has like all these lower level rappers who are just coming up right now, like Dresso and Kid Foster. Not much people talk about the Dresso song. It's called Samurai Drip, produced by Pascal. That song like puts me on some 21 Savage vibe.
I actually haven't even listened to it yet.
I listened to this song and I was wondering, where is this kid's next song? Like, Get Into the Lab with Pascal. his like basement studio
It's actually nice now though. Like it actually looks legit.
with the lights and everything. Whenever I see a post and the person or the rapper is in like the red lights, the first
You
thing
just
that come to
know
mind,
it is Pascal
like
beats.
this is about to be heat.
Always like all his beats are fire, and it's kind of stupid how talented he is. And it's all coming out of Winnipeg, and we all thought Winnipeg was shit. That's crazy.
Right now, I listen to more Winnipeg rappers than I do Toronto rappers.
That's facts. I actually don't. Besides like Drake, I don't think I listen to any Toronto rappers.
What was the
like Young Tory?
Young Tory.
I don't listen to him. I don't listen to Tory Lanez.
I don't listen to Smiley or Smoke.
I guess The Weeknd is like.
Is he from Toronto?
I actually don't even know, to be honest. I'm just talking.
Justin Bieber, is he from Toronto?
No, I think he's from somewhere in Ontario though.
I listen to the new song by Justin Bieber, but that's for a different day.
Let's get into that. Well, we could go back to the main topic here. The man of the movement, the man of the hour, Lim.
Man of the hour?
Man of the hour, Lim. I'm gonna sound super biased, but I'm sorry. I didn't start listening to him until the start of the summer, I think, almost. I don't even remember what the first song I heard from him was. But ever since then, shit. He's one of he definitely top 5.
He's
like
hard, yeah.
Without a doubt, he's in my top 5. I mean, you can argue otherwise for yours, but like,
you talking about top 5 as in like all the rappers, or you talking about top 5 as in Winnipeg?
Talking about top 5 in all the rappers. On everything.
You gotta be kidding me.
I'm sorry. Like, I started a deep dive on his projects like a while ago, and literally every single one, I think the oldest one was 2017, and since then I literally have all of them downloaded on my phone. Like, I'll show you. They're all consecutive back to back too.
I don't know though. I feel like Lim is fire, but like a lot of his, he does have all the albums and all the EPs on there. But I feel like some of his verses, like only some of them, they leave like a lot to like
be desired.
Like I feel like he could have done like a little bit better on these verses.
I mean, you can say that about any rapper. Then
I don't know if I could say that about Fab right now, bro. I feel like every verse, if he's getting featured, if he's on his own track with no features, if you didn't hear his song, are always fire. He's always bringing like 100, 110 to the studio.
I mean, you do have a point. He is pretty fire most of the time, but I just feel like the way I listen to maybe like Stormzy or Dave, and I can listen to all their albums like all day. Like I could put on only Lim's albums for the day and I'd be fine. Like they just all either sound so different or so good, and it's just a perfect combination of everything. Like he can sing, he can obviously spit on the track, and it's just like he's just good.
Yeah, but what do Lim really be talking about though in his song?
Well, depends on what song, but like, oh, there we go. All right, we're cool. But it varies from like love to just flexing, obviously, because all rappers talk about that. And then he has some like a little bit deeper stuff, but you can say that about Fab too. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on Fab, but it's like he just talks about flexing and love also. That's what most rappers talk about.
Yeah, but he talks about grinding. He talks about like.
I mean, Lim talks about that too. Like what do you mean?
I do. I just feel like the rappers that he reminds me of are like rappers that I don't really have in my like library of music. Like Lim reminds me of guys like YB and Namir.
Oh, I get what you're saying, but Lim's just my guy. I'm sorry, but
I don't know.
I'm super biased because I also work with him. But
Okay,
it's also
so you're saying this because he's giving you the
no,
bad.
no. It's also genuine because obviously I'm not getting paid to say this. It's just
I
fact
mean, you never know.
that he sounds nice on every song.
He does.
And
Yeah.
I could start my day with Big Flex, Come Up, or like a nice Patience for that love vibe. But it's just a
I
wave.
think him and Fab to me have like are tied for like one of the best features I've heard out of Winnipeg. Weiss and oh no, like Lim's verse, or like not his verse because he was doing the chorus on Might. How do you say this nigga's name?
Oh, Miazwe.
Miyazwe. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that song you were telling me about.
Drip featuring Lavish in there too. Lavish had a great performance on that song. I feel like he smoked that.
Damn, speaking of Lavish, actually, since I don't want to go back and forth as Lim and Fab all day, what are you saying about Lavish? What are you saying about his sound, his tune?
I like Lavish, but sometimes I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I like Lavish. Like, I've known that nigga since like middle school. Like, he's a dope guy, and he makes like dope music. And he just got signed too. Like, shout out to him.
Who's that with? Was that with Sony?
Yeah, I think he got signed by Sony. Yeah, and he puts out like really like songs that are more for like the mainstream people. Like, he put out like pop songs, kind of like his new song, Sunset Boulevard.
All I'm saying is anyone whoever has like heavy, not or medium sized auto tune, it's just tough for me. Like, after the first project of Sweeter Life, like I was with that, but every song I've heard after, I mean, it's not bad, but it's just not my cup of tea, if that makes sense. Like, it's just, I want to hear what your actual voice sounds like. Like, that's why I like a lot of rappers. Like, I'm gonna keep saying Stormzy, Dave, like Big Sean, Drake. Like, people love them because of their voice. If you get Drake on any beat, any sound, it's just the fact that his voice just sounds good all the time.
And that's like some of the problems that I have with Travis Scott too, because I feel like Travis Scott can make like a really good song whenever he wants to. Like, he can like snap his finger and like there's a hit right there. But I also feel like sometimes he gets really good beats and he just ruins them by having OD like autotune.
Yeah, it's lit.
Like, yeah, like I feel like Lavish too uses OD autotune sometimes. Like, again,
still sounds nice though, but
Sunset Boulevard, I really like. It's more popish. Sunset Boulevard, I like. Gang Gang.
mm-hmm.
That's a really good song.
That.
But then I find it hard to listen to his like other songs. Like, he put out the freestyle when Toronto Raptors won the championship, and I found that really hard to listen to.
Like, you wouldn't be able to listen to like a whole album of it?
Yeah,
or?
like, it's gonna be tough for me to sit down and like really get into like a whole album of him like using that kind of sound. Like, I go through his songs and I find like 1, 2, 3, 4 songs where it's like he's not really more using autotune. He's actually like trying to like sing or trying to like spit. Like, he reminds me of Travis Scott. Reminds me of Tory Lanez sometimes. Like, Tory Lanez is really good at what he does, but sometimes the autotune is just not for me.
I feel that.
And I feel like that's the same problem that you were having with Future. How you can hear him.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I can't understand.
Yeah.
But before we switch to topics, I just want to say we still love our Winnipeg rappers, even though we might have some issues I was still a bandwagon of YSN Fab when he first came out with Ment 4. I mean, this dude over here wasn't feeling it at first, and obviously
facts.
he converted.
Yeah.
But shit, Lim's just the best one out in Winnipeg. I'm sorry.
Sure.
But now we're gonna transition to our second segment, which is sideline talks or thoughts. I mean, we're gonna talk about sports from a perspective of the viewer, even though we're both student athletes.
Quick flex.
Yeah, quick flex. But with the most interesting news this past week, or I guess weekend, gonna start with the NFL playoffs, which have just been absurd. And all I'm gonna say is Jimmy Garoppolo deserved every dollar of his new contract.
I'm not really feeling that take, man.
Go on then. What are you saying?
I feel like Jimmy G, he's obviously a good quarterback. Top 10 quarterback in this league, maybe a stretch. Maybe number 11. But that team goes as the defense and the running game goes. Jimmy G is just there to not fuck things up, if I'm being honest with you.
You're calling Jimmy G a game manager.
He is.
The next Tom Brady. I'm kidding.
He's the ultimate game manager. Like, there's levels to game managers. There's Mitchell Trubisky. That's the last tier of game managers, right? And then this season, I can say Tom Brady was a game manager. I could say this season Aaron Rodgers was a game manager at times.
I was gonna say that's a hot take.
Because there's other times where you go out there, put up 300 yards, 5 or 4 passing touchdowns. But there's other times where he goes out there, put up barely 200, has the 1 touchdown with like 19 attempts, and Aaron Jones just did the rest of the work.
The better Aaron.
And then I think Jimmy G is like Aaron Rodgers, but like a notch higher, because he has a better defense than Aaron Rodgers. He has more bodies in the backfield than Aaron Rodgers. And I just feel like he has the better coach, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. And if you're facing a team like they did this weekend, the Minnesota Vikings, where you have a game manager that couldn't take the role of game managing against 49ers because Dalvin Cook was nowhere to be found. So Kirk Cousins had to go from a game manager to...
He had to be the star.
Yeah.
And he just could not.
That's just not the role he plays. If you saw last week, he played against the Saints. Yeah. Am I right? And Dalvin Cook absolutely put on a backpack that game. And he just had to make 2 big throws at the end of that game in overtime to win them that game. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, as long as you go that whole game without fucking up 2 or more times, because the defense will bail you out a couple times. Mm-hmm. But 2 or more times, you're losing that game. If he throws 2 interceptions and fumbles the ball, you're losing that game.
I would still say he deserves his contract, but you do make good points, and I'm actually kind of choked because I don't have anything to say back to that. Because you're right, he is pretty much a game manager, but he still does it well. So, I mean, if that's what gets you to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship,
it gets you there. I guess he's an elite game manager, and you can't take that away from him. That's still good quarterback play.
You know what was also good quarterback play?
Oh, yeah.
Lamar Jackson. I mean, the Ravens choked super heavy because they don't know how to play from 2 scores behind. But so most of the season, I don't want to say I was a Lamar Jackson hater, but I was a doubter because coming out of college, we already knew he can run the ball, and he's pretty decent at throwing the ball. And then that's exactly what he still did during the NFL season. And everyone was just hyping it all up. But it's the same thing he was doing in college when he's talking about, oh, he's better than that. He's a QB. But he still wasn't showing us that he was a QB.
Like a pocket quarterback.
Yeah, like a pocket passer. I mean, I don't want to call him, because obviously you're going to use your skills as running. But like, besides the first like 3 games, I think, one against the Dolphins, like he would throw for like 300 something yards.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then for almost that entire win streak that they had close to the end of the season, this dude barely touched over 200 yards. Like he averaged 200 yards. Like not the Patriots, the Ravens, their Instagram page, they posted something about like the first player in franchise or NFL history that averages 200 passing yards, 100 rushing yards. I mean, it's dope to average 100 rushing yards, but you're a quarterback averaging 200 yards for like the entire season. That's just crazy.
But that's big trust, though.
I mean, yeah, that's big trust, but like, I wanted him to like destroy people with his arm, and then I wouldn't doubt him. I mean, I already know he's like sick.
But okay, now he still threw like 400 yards.
Exact. That's what I'm talking. In this game, that like took away some doubt because obviously he showed he can throw.
Yeah.
But like a lot of that came at the back end of the game. But it's still the same thing. Still the same stats.
Yeah.
But like like he showed us that he could throw. But then the Ravens showed us that they love to choke.
The Ravens are probably one of the biggest frauds this season. I put all my eggs in one basket. I thought it was Lamar Jackson Super Bowl for sure. Like, I was just worried about what was going to happen in the NFC. I'm like, Lamar Jackson got this wrapped up. Like,
everyone thought it was raps.
You're telling me Lamar Jackson, the MVP, he needs to come to the stand. He needs to answer some questions. Like, he was loud talking about the disrespect better be as loud as the apology. All right, man.
God damn.
Come on.
Get him with his own words. I mean, I feel like the rest of the team needs to come to the stand. We need Mark Ingram to come to the stand. I mean, they only got like a couple carries, like 10 carries between the both of them. But like still, 42 yards from everyone else that isn't named Lamar Jackson.
That's kind of crazy. I think Harbaugh needs to come to the stand too.
Crazy. Exactly. The play calling. You have the most dynamic run offense of the entire league, but you pass the ball like 60 times.
I feel like Harbaugh was just panicking, honestly. Like, he didn't really stick to what worked.
Exactly. I feel like he was trying to like shock them or something.
I feel like also that defense that had 4 Pro Bowlers and like 3 All Pros. What happened?
Where'd they go?
What? You're telling me you're gonna have all these All Pros, all these Pro Bowl players, and you're gonna let Derrick Henry rush for 195 yards and put up 3 touchdowns?
I mean, it's Derrick Henry. And you know what he is? He's built Bama.
This guy and his built Bama, man.
I mean, we saw it last year versus the Jaguars where he just ripped them apart. He even did it this year again to them.
Yeah, he did. Manhandled.
So we already know it's crazy because this man's was like on the verge of losing his job with the Titans.
Lewis when he came in?
Exactly.
Bro, Derrick Henry, before this season, all this hype he's getting right now, the most underrated running back in this league.
100%. And now his coach knows how to use him and how fast he is for a man that's 245. It's just crazy. It's crazy what they do over there at Alabama. Their strength and conditioning program, top notch. That's all I'm saying.
All right, man. Calm down over there.
But, I mean, let's talk about a team that actually is good from playing from behind. Let's talk about the Chiefs. You know, they like to just play games. They wanted to test themselves because they knew the Texans, they're new to this playoff stuff, okay?
They were having too much fun. They said this playoff game is gonna be so easy that you know what? Let's try to make it harder on ourselves. Like when you're playing Call of Duty or something, and you're like, these kids are noobs. Let's all go snipers only. Patrick Mahomes is like, you know what? Let's go 21-0 down. Let's have some fun today.
Let's see how good we really are. I mean, yeah, that must have been the reason for all the drop balls and the fumbles and the huge swing of momentum.
Yeah, because after all that happened, out of nowhere, it was like punt, 3 in a row. And then after that, touchdown.
That one kick return, I think it was a kick return that went up to like half or 50-yard line. It just sparked everything. And then they just went off. They didn't drop a ball. Patty Mahomes was just diming them up.
God.
Like, so what do you say?
Patrick Mahomes is probably the... I don't want to say something that's too outlandish.
If Patrick Mahomes didn't get injured, he would have been the MVP 2 years in a row.
Facts.
Facts, no print there.
Patrick Mahomes, I'm sorry to Aaron Rodgers, because that's my guy. Patrick Mahomes is the best thrower of the football that we've seen since Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, okay.
Since Aaron Rodgers.
I was going to say, that is outlandish. He's only been doing this for how many years now? Man's just going to say the best thrower of the football we've ever seen.
He is. But okay, so I know there's I've been looking online, there's a little bit of hate or like haters on Patrick Mahomes because you're like, well, every quarterback plays good under Andy Reid.
I mean, we haven't seen a Patrick Mahomes, though.
Yeah, I feel like what Andrew Reid does with quarterbacks, there's no doubt he makes quarterbacks good, just like Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma. But I feel like what Andy Reid have done with quarterbacks is he's given them 3,500 yards with 30 touchdowns or something about that, and 10 interceptions at the most, like Donovan McNabb and Alex Smith. Patrick Mahomes is throwing for 4,000 yards, 50 touchdowns.
Man has a cannon. He's special.
People need to just start just let that nigga just let him go.
Mm-hmm. He's special.
He's next up.
I mean, your coach can do so much, but when it comes to the player, that's a whole different story. It's like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. How much are you gonna give to each? Obviously, Coach Belichick is amazing, but Tom Brady's also the GOAT.
Yeah,
I don't know if you agree. Yeah,
football player to live.
I've never heard you say that before.
You haven't?
Never in my life.
What? I feel like I have.
The best football player ever to live.
I've never said that before.
Jeez. So what are you saying about him being second on the, all-century team or whatever for the NFL?
All time? I feel like that's crazy. Who they have above him?
I think it was Joe Montana.
Are you serious? Come on, man.
It's settled. Tom Brady is the best football player to ever live. That's so crazy. But speaking of Tom Brady, then, he did not play all that well this season.
Oh, he played horrible.
But are we blaming this on his supporting cast or the coaching or him just being bad?
I feel like you got to give blame everywhere. You got to give blame to Tom Brady, of course. You got to give blame to Bill Belichick not giving him what he needed to play better. As the quarterback gets older, you need to get his supporting cast better because he can do less now. I feel like Philip Dorsett, Julian Edelman, and whatever guy they took from a parking lot were not good. Of course, Julian Edelman just came back from a Super Bowl MVP year, but he wasn't good. The tight end, Benjamin Watson, he was barely running this year. Like, he'll catch the ball and go down. Like, he didn't fight for extra yards. He's no Gronk. Not close to it.
Damn.
His running game, James White and Sonny Michel, they were shells of themselves from what they did last year. Their O-line was bad. Injured for the most part, but bad too. Bill Belichick always preached this thing where it's next man up. And the Patriots are so good at that. Where the next person up is like plays like not obviously not at the same level as who was starting, but at least like somewhere like comparable, somewhere good.
I feel so. Basically, what I'm hearing is it's the supporting cast and not Tom Brady.
It's kind of Tom Brady though. A lot of checkdowns. A lot of
That's true. But in my opinion, I think it's solely the supporting cast. Because I feel like if you put Tom Brady on the Chiefs, he's going back to the Super Bowl. But he's actually going to score touchdowns this time. I'm sorry, but I think he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
What?
I'm sorry. Because he doesn't have anyone to throw to. His run game is non-existent. Like you said, his O-line is non-existent.
Yeah.
But if you give him at least one elite wide receiver like they tried with Antonio Brown or like Josh Gordon, but he has no... Like, Julian Edelman is elite in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But besides that, he's just okay. He's not anyone's top 5 or top 10 receiver, and everyone else is non-existent. And then you don't have a tight end. You don't have one of the best tight ends to ever play the game anymore. That is such a huge drop off in your supporting cast. You
go from that to Benjamin Watson.
Exactly. And you can't tell me that Tom Brady is cheeks. He might be old, but you can still make those throws that he was making before, because he still gets the ball there, but man just don't catch it all the time. Like Julian Edelman, bare drops.
He did have bare drops.
So crazy. And he's supposed to be the Super Bowl MVP.
I feel, bro, come on. If you put any quarterback on the Chiefs, they're going to the playoffs.
I mean, you could put, what's his name, Chicago quarterback Mitchell Trubisky on the Chiefs. He's not taking them to the playoffs.
Andy Reid might have something different to say about that, because he made Donovan McNabb look like a Hall of Famer.
I can't even say his name right now. He was a Hall of Famer. Well, we're not getting into that.
Yeah, we're gonna chill on that right now, but okay, I'll give you that. You can put most of the blame. Okay, let's say this: out of 100%, I feel like you can put 70% on his supporting cast.
Okay, I can live with that.
But like, you gotta give.
Well, he's not a perfect quarterback. He's also old.
Yeah,
so
I feel like he deserves at least 30 of the blame, 30%. Because part of his supporting cast is Bill Belichick, right?
Okay, I was gonna say, are you including that?
Because Bill Belichick didn't do him no favors.
Yeah, by releasing Josh Gordon.
I don't see the move in releasing Antonio Brown. I don't see it. First game there, he caught a 43-yard touchdown.
I don't know if we have enough time to talk about all that.
You don't feel like
Mance is kind of crazy.
Released, though.
I mean, maybe not from the Patriots. I mean, I don't think they should have signed him in the first place, to be honest, because he's kind of crazy and all the stuff that was going on. Yeah, he's good at football. I don't know if he's good at life, though. That's football. A different question.
Where's the best place to put somebody who's trouble outside of the football field? You put him on the Patriots, because they're gonna make sure that nigga.
But then if he got released from the Patriots, would that not mean that if they can't help him, no one can?
I feel like he got released because of the whole scandal about him cheating with his trainer or whatever that was. Did you see that? I feel like right after that news came out, I scrolling on my Instagram feed and I saw Antonio Brown released.
Well, I mean,
if Tom Brady had Antonio Brown this season, come on. That's like Antonio Brown.
They wouldn't have lost in the first round, eh?
They would have been back to the Super Bowl. Okay, let me chill. Because I don't really like the Patriots defense. I feel like they had really good games against the Dolphins and like teams that were under 500, and then people at the NFL offices started like crowning them some kind of like best defense of the decade. Like what? Come on. You have one elite cornerback and you have no other player on that defense who is elite.
So going back to the whole Tom Brady situation, since he's an aging quarterback going into free agency and he wants the big paycheck.
Oh yeah.
After taking all these pay cuts, he's finally like, no, this is going to be probably my last contract and I'm cashing out. He's not giving the Patriots a hometown discount or any of that.
Which is a first.
He wants the bag. So with that being said, do you think he's going to stay? Are they going to pay him? Or where do you think he'd go? Or where do you want him to go or see him go?
I think the era of Tom Brady in a Patriots uniform is done. Like Demi was saying, Tom Brady wants a big bag and at a market value. And what the value is right now is $30 million. The New England Patriots have never, ever allocated $30 million
They don't pay no one. They don't pay no one.
The whole time their franchise has been established, they've never paid amount of $30 million.
And he wants a multi-year contract too.
How old is he?
Big tough.
44?
I think so. Like, he's an old man. He's too old. But he's still good enough to be in the league, that's all I'm saying.
Definitely a top 5 quarterback in the league right now. But I also feel like there are like 2 teams.
Oh, he's 42.
Oh, 42? So like his contract is probably going to be like multi-year, which is at least 2 years. So by the time he's done that, he would be like 44, 45. Come on. Exactly. There are 2 teams I think who needs Tom Brady and is a good destination for Tom Brady. So the Los Angeles Chargers, I was about to say San Diego for a second, are set to have $60 million in cap room. $60 million is a lot of money. And they don't really have players to give all that cap to. Keenan Allen is still under the books. Mike Williams is still under the books. Hunter Henry is still on his rookie contract. They're going to have a free agent, Austin Eckler, but I don't think they're going to sign him back. Melvin Gordon is looking for a new deal.
I don't think that's going to break the bank, though. Yeah. Melvin Gordon's just been like MIA.
I don't think he deserves that new contract. I think rather to giving Melvin Gordon a new contract, they should bring back Austin Eckler for a cheaper price. Their O-line is fine. No one needs to get paid. Their defense are all people that are on their contract. And they are a really talented team. But there's one player on that whole team that I didn't mention who is set to be a free agent and who threw 23 touchdowns to 20 interceptions. That's Phillip Rivers. What are your thoughts on Phillip Rivers?
Phillip Rivers is tough because on one hand, when he was in his prime, he was really good. Yeah. Hall of Fame QB.
Definitely.
And then now when you hear the name Phillip Rivers, you're like, that nigga cheeks, bro. Like, I don't want to hear any of it. I don't want to play him on Madden. I don't want to see him in the stat sheet. Like,
you're like mediocre. That's the first word that comes in my head when I hear
mediocre. Sound like an Andy Dalton.
Facts. He reminds me of Andy Dalton a lot. So he had 23 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. I don't know about you, but that's horrible.
Sound like Jameis Winston.
That's a topic for another day. because he boils my blood.
So you're saying replace Philip Rivers with the GOAT, Tom Brady.
And unlike the Patriots, he comes to the Chargers. He has Keenan Allen, who has been in the top 3 for receptions, top 3, top 5 in yards, and also been in the top 5 in receiving touchdowns.
So in other words, a star receiver.
And then he gets, like, I'm not gonna call him like a Gronkowski type, but he gets a decent tight end who put up good numbers this year, put up over 1,000 yards receiving, Hunter Henry. He gets that. He gets a good running game. I feel like this is a win-win
What else do you need? That's all Tom Brady needs to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Tom Brady also, despite the $30 million like thing where the Patriots never gave in or allocated $30 million to a player before, I feel like Bill Belichick wanted to replace Tom Brady with Jimmy Garoppolo.
100%.
Like, don't you
Now
know
look at him.
that?
Yeah. Because that's what I said. He was supposed to be the next Tom Brady.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like the ownership or somebody was like, we want Tom Brady. Like, this is not your team, Bill. Like, we're going another direction.
So then he smited Tom Brady and got rid of all his weapons.
I wouldn't even be surprised. I look at Bill Belichick's interviews and stuff like that. I'm like, this guy's probably he's probably sick in the head. Like,
I mean, with all his cheating scandals, I wouldn't doubt it.
yeah, he looks crazy. I wouldn't even want to know what it is to play for him. But also another team that's kind of interesting, but I think it's pretty far out there, is the Las Vegas Raiders, with John Gruden is the new coach. He was in there this season. They were close to making the playoffs, which was surprising. Yeah, Derek Carr is he's not a game changer for sure, but he's decent. So if you're getting that kind of production from Derek Carr, yeah, like Derek Carr also just signed a new contract, obviously. But if you were to cut Derek Carr or trade him,
just eat the cost. I mean, they were gonna get an Antonio Brown, so
yeah, they got rid of Antonio Brown's cap. Getting rid of Derek Carr is only gonna cost them $5 million, and they have a $60 million cap space.
And you get the GOAT for 2 to 3 years. I think that's definitely worth it, but I doubt it'll happen.
Yeah, like I feel like it could happen. Like it's like a low possibility.
I think the first one's most likely.
Because they got rid
That makes sense.
of Khalil Mack, right? I mean, I feel like if it's somebody who's willing to get rid of Khalil Mack,
Should be willing to get rid of Derek Carr.
Like
it's easy.
He clearly loves risks. And I feel like his risks paid off this year. Like a lot of people would say, that's a horrible trade. Khalil Mack's a game changer. In all the years the Raiders had Khalil Mack, they were never that close to making the playoffs. The Raiders were one game off. They had a huge year by Josh Jacobs, the rookie.
Build Bama.
Alabama, we're going to talk about this later. I don't even want to get into it, but yeah, the Raiders are also a good landing spot. And the thing that I feel like would draw him to these two teams it's always sunny in Los Angeles, and it's always
Doesn't
sunny
have to play in New England anymore.
It's always sunny in Vegas. Those are great cities to play for with like devoted fans.
Okay, but if Tom Brady leaves the Patriots, does that mean that their dynasty is over?
Yeah.
100%.
Ooh.
Because I feel like this is going to show whether or not...
Bill Belichick?
Yeah, if Bill Belichick made Tom Brady or if Tom Brady made Bill Belichick. Like, if he leaves, this is most definitely going to show who is right.
This is the make or break time for Bill
Exactly.
if Tom Brady leaves. And it's also a make or break time for Tom Brady. Because what if Tom Brady leaves, goes to a team, and they don't make the playoffs? What does that really say? Everyone's going to say, oh, well, he's 43. What did you expect?
He's washed up.
But then when they're using that same analogy with Bill Belichick, no one's going to listen about his age or like how long he's been coaching. It's just going to go straight to...
He's the best coach of all time.
Exactly. But I feel like it depends on who they get to replace him.
Tom Brady? Yeah.
'Cause I feel like...
Maybe they actually draft a quarterback.
Oh, they don't like drafting quarterbacks at high spots.
Mm-hmm. Imagine if they did some crazy trades, got Joe Burrow. The dynasty lives on for the next 10, 15 years.
If the league lets Bill Belichick get his hand on Joe Burrow,
Or Tua Tagovailoa.
I'm done. I'm not watching the NFL anymore. Because you know what's going to happen? It's going to be year after year after year of seeing the same thing I just saw this last
Robert
decade.
Kraft holding the trophy.
The facts. What does he have now? Like 7?
I think 6 or 7, yeah.
That's the GOAT.
That's just too much.
That's the GOAT of football. Like, also, about the replacing Tom Brady thing, I was seeing some news about how Andy Dalton is looking like one of the
The QBs that they
to
want.
replace Tom Brady.
Imagine going from Tom Brady to Andy Dalton.
I feel like that's disrespectful.
That's so crazy. Imagine if they still go to the playoffs.
That would give me some
Bill Belichick is just cemented in the GOAT Hall of Fame.
facts. Like,
Only
I
him.
would have to look at Tom Brady in a way. I'll be like, I don't know if Bill Belichick takes Andy Dalton, or let's say takes, they drafted Will Gurr, right? If he takes Will Gurr, puts him in the quarterback position, and rides him all the way to the playoffs, I gotta look at Tom Brady a certain way. Because the same props that we were giving Andy Reid earlier in the podcast, we gotta give the same thing to Bill Belichick.
It's facts. Molding QBs just like that. But that's all in the future, though.
If you really look at it, he molded Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo.
And Jimmy G.
And now they're both successful. I mean, Jacoby Brissett took over after our guy Andrew Luck decided to dip on us. But they still did decent. And then obviously Jimmy G is out here in the playoffs, making moves.
Yeah. He's in playoffs doing what Tom Brady does best. Game managing.
Listen, they were coached by the same coach, but Tom Brady's still good enough to play in the NFL. Tom Brady's still a GOAT.
Yeah,
And he's just amazing. Yeah. I don't know about
Damn, call him
amazing. But
amazing,
yeah,
just like
I'm
that.
relax. He's a good game manager. Yep.
Hot. Tom Brady is gonna go into the books as the best quarterback to ever play football. But he's 42 years old. I don't know. He should give up on this multi-level contract thing. If I was like a business, because the way I'm looking at this decision, I'm looking at it as a business owner. If I own a merchandise or a franchise, will I give a contract to a company who just shit the bed the last time I had them hired? And despite all the great things they've done for me, would I give them a lot of money to do a job for me for the next 3 years after I just saw them shit the bed?
Yeah, a common phrase in football is, what have you done for me recently?
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though you went to the Super Bowl, you won the Super Bowl, but you didn't score any touchdowns. So, that's big tough.
They didn't score a touchdown? Dang. Oh, yeah, but he led the game-winning drive. Come on. he heaved that ball up, and Gronkowski said, "Give me that." That's what happened.
That's why he's one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. But, we're off this whole sports stuff. Like, no one watches sports anyways. Well, we're all on Twitter, and we love Twitter and all our social justice warriors and all our double standards. We love double standards, okay? And so in this next segment we call social structure. I don't know, we're working on the name.
Yeah.
But I saw this on Twitter the other day. So if a girl dates a man with more money, the guy is considered a breadwinner. But then if you flip that and it's vice versa, and the girl is making more money than the guy, then now she's considered unhappy or that she's dating down. What are we saying about this? Facts or printer?
That's all printer, bro. Like, I feel like I get this more from the older, like the boomers. Like, I feel like girls, they meet a guy. Like, let's say this girl is like a waitress, and they meet like a surgeon or some crazy story like that. I know that probably doesn't happen much. And they go home, they tell their mom, me and this surgeon are dating. We've been dating for they go, he just proposed to me. And man, you're telling, that mom's finna go crazy. They just hit the lottery.
All right, now tell your mom that you're gonna get married to a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah, that's over. Especially if this girl was like, let's reverse the roles. If the girl was a surgeon, let's say so, or she was like a
nurse
like
or doctor
or something like that,
pharmacist,
and then she's dating a SoundCloud rapper. What? The disappointment that's about to come on your mom's face?
I mean, even with not as crazy as a contrast or comparison, like even if he was like
let's say a plumber,
yeah, or like just working, I don't know, retail or something, like he could still be trying to like work on his side hustle, but as long as he works retail, niggas are like, yikes, like you can't be happy in that relationship. But at the same time, then people love talking about like girls that stay loyal to the man through all the thick and thin. Like you could see him grinding and stuff.
Yeah.
And how it's like important to trust your man's vision. But then those same people are the ones judging like couples with this kind of dynamic.
Yeah, like they be the first people on Twitter. Like a lot of people on Twitter, they just contradict themselves heavily. So much. Like, you can scroll through someone's Twitter. One day they're saying, yo, let's wake up. Let's get this bread. I'm so happy to be alive. Another day, another dollar. And then you scroll down to 2 weeks ago. Man, fuck life.
Yeah, everyone's like, do you ever just want to like die?
Yeah. Yo, throw back to those days, low key. Like, that's all I'll see on Twitter and scrolling through my Twitter. I'm like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Like, I feel like dying and people saying kill me is so glorified in our society nowadays. Like, there's too many like jokes about it. But we're recording this on Sunday, 9 p.m. We just finished. Like, we just watched comeback, the Chiefs against the Texans. Well, the Packers game just ended, and I am proud to tell you, 7 years a Packers fan, 3 years playoff drought. Come on, man. Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. It was 28-23 for Green Bay Packers. And it's a dub. Hey, you had this year first. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers
are not going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, repeat it after me. Aaron Rodgers
What?
and the Packers are not going to the Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Matt LaFleur. Way better coach than Mike McCarthy, by the way. All you Cowboys fans who thought you got your savior, Mike McCarthy, 79. That's what I'm going to say about that. We're going to the next round against the 49ers. And it's going to be a struggle. I'm going to be honest with you. But I feel like our defense is the type of defense that can get to Jimmy G at least 5 times in a single game. And once you get to Jimmy G back there, I don't know. It gets too much to handle. The game gets too much to manage for him.
Jimmy G is going to manage his way to the Super Bowl.
I feel like, I don't know, his clock in his head. That needs to get, like, fine-tuned. Like, somebody needs to get him to the lab. I don't know where they make good quarterbacks at. I don't know what lab. Maybe Dexter. Maybe Dexter just makes them up. But someone needs to go fix his, like he, once the pressure starts dropping in on Jimmy G.
Started seeing ghosts.
Yeah, his decision-making started getting a little bit, like, worrying. But you're here first. The Green Bay Packers are going to the Super Bowl. And we're going to play... We're going to play the 49ers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was all cap, but
That's crazy.
that's the last topic for today's podcast. And thank you for tuning into the DNA podcast. We're going to be doing one episode a week. So tune in every, I think Wednesdays when it's going to actually come out. But tune in every Wednesday. We're going to put it on all streaming platforms. And it's going to be blessed. It's going to be your favorite podcast. You want to add anything?
We are on social media. We have Instagram. My Instagram is Hoodie Newt. HOODIENEWT.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And what's yours?
Mine is Visuals by Demi _. I'm not going to spell it because spelling is hard. I'm kidding. VISUALSDEMI _ for all that photography and videography work, you know, it's whatever.
So if you guys have any topics that you want us to touch into, talk about, or if you disagree with our opinions,
I mean, you're wrong if you do, but
you can hit us up in the DMs and it might get included in the next episode.
sheesh. And we're signing out.
Yeah, we're signing out.